Well, hello and welcome back. We're going to have some more fun today. We're going to do networking, but also a little bit of printing because I want to install the printer service to get you familiar with it. I like to use it in my class for some things, so my students should be familiar with it. I don't like printing, so I try to avoid it as much as possible, but we have to do it sometimes, and it's also a good application to use for different things. So first, networking. One of the first things I do with networking is, if a system is down, is I look to see if the processes are running. And a great way to see that, I log into the system and I do sudo netstat-tnlp. So, yeah, I'm a little too big. That's better. So this will tell me, hey, what's installed, what's listening. Because I did sudo, I can see the process ID. Now the problem is this is TCP only. If I get rid of T, I'll see a lot more. Because there's all sorts of stuff that's going on. But usually I'm just looking at TCP. Although this caused me a problem. I created a Minecraft server for someone a long time ago. And that Minecraft server, I got it up, I told it to run, and I looked and there were no processes running and I couldn't figure out why. And I spent like an hour trying to understand why it wasn't working. And then I realized Minecraft is UDP, not TCP. And more things are moving towards UDP. So, but in the past, I was always able to check just UDP and it would be there. So, but this is a way to see actively listening things. So, those are great commands to know. Just know, you need to know that there are limitations. Okay, I'm going to clear this. Well, the command tells you what you tell it to tell you. But my default was only TCP. And I've had to change that. So, and I definitely like, instead of netstat-tnlp, I like sudo netstat-tnlp. So I get this information right here. Okay? So, cool. Now, I want to introduce you to cups. In fact, if we man cups, I don't think it's installed. So, we need to install it first. Sudo yum-y install cups. And it's going to go through and install it. And there's a whole bunch of stuff here. So once it's installed, we're going to go ahead and run that netstat command again. And we see nothing's there. But that's because we have not yet started the service. So we need to do sudo netstat-tnlp. Oh, sorry, sudo, my brain. Systemctl start cups.service. And that'll start the cup service. So now if we go back here, we can see, look, there are two things that cups runs. Wait, this one and this one. One's TCP, one's TCP version 6. Cool. So there's some TCP stuff there for cups. Now we should be able to man cups and see the information there. By the way, cup stands for, I believe, Common Unix Printing Services. We're using Linux, not Unix. They're related, kind of. So, and some things got carried over. So, Common Unix Printing Services, cups. So, let's talk about some of the commands that I've used with cups in the past. I often used lpinfo. So if I man lpinfo, it'll say this shows the available devices or drivers, and it's depreciated. So I shouldn't be using this anymore. Let's see about lpadmin. lpadmin. So this one's not depreciated. So this is another one that I've used. One of the things I want to show you is that cups, you see that it's listening here on 631. If I run this command, and we haven't taught you this yet, but that's okay. Curl, and I'm going to say localhost, which says on myself. And I'm going to go to this port, 631. It's going to go there, and we can see that there's a web page here. This is HTML. And if we look here, it'll even tell us that this is, so here's a menu, admin, classes, help, jobs, and printers, and cups body, open printing, cups, and it's the standard base. So this is a web page. There's a web page now on our system for cups. Now, by default, this is firewalled off and doesn't let people from outside access it. And I don't have a web browser on this server, so it's kind of hard to get there. There's ways to do it. I cover those in some of my other classes. Maybe I'll use this as an example in a future video, because I probably should do that. But I have cups here, and localhost 631, it's a web page. Cool. Now, the thing is, sometimes it's not, the problem's not that the application's not running. Sometimes the problem's something else, which I want to take a step back. So, in fact, I'm going to do set-ovi. Notice I did systemctl. So I started the cup service. Well, guess what? If I reboot, sudo reboot. So it'll kick me out. It's going to take just a little bit. But cups is not listed to auto start. So it's not going to be there. You'll see once I get connected, it's going to be a little bit. So we need to set it to auto start. Let's see if it's back. There we go. So if we do sudo netstat-tnlp, we see, oh, it did set to auto start. Interesting. I wonder if it did that with install. It didn't used to. Things often change. If it wasn't set to auto start, how you do that is, first of all, let me see if I lost my history. I haven't. Good. Uptime. Just make sure it rebooted. Yep, 0 minutes. So when we did this system control start, cups.service, what you do instead of start is enable. So I'm going to actually do that on the command line, even though it won't do anything, since it looks like it is enabled when you install. It just didn't start. Okay. And it says it created those symlinks. But okay, so cups is now running and auto starting. Let me introduce you to some other commands that I use often. So if something's working on the server side, but people can't get to it, I start to wonder if it's other networking issues. So maybe it's the network card on the Linux box. So I can see information there by typing ifconfig. And that gives me some of my network information. So if you notice, there's two here. This one is my virtual network card for my machine. And this one, LO, is the loopback, which is also localhost. Okay? Loopback doesn't go all the way through the network. This IP would. But I see a problem with this IP, because when I connect, exit, in fact, I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to show you. So this right here is kind of the IP address, but it's part of the host name, so it wasn't done right. So let me change it to an IP address. So this is the IP address that I'm logging into the instance as. Okay? Let's see, I'm in. Now let me run that ifconfig again. ifconfig, and if you look, I logged into 54.163.50.161. That's not here at all. It should be right here, right? Kinda. This is my internal network IP address. But there's networking stuff that is happening that's translating it to another IP. And it's just, so I need to figure that out. Now this gets kind of hard. So, because the instance itself, the computer itself doesn't know what the network's doing. So by default, Linux wouldn't know. So let me clear this. The cool thing is, Amazon has this instance metadata. This is data about your EC2 instance. And if you come down here, it has this dynamic data. So let's see. We need, yeah, right here. So here's an example with curl. So I'm just going to take this and copy it. And I come over here. I'm going to hit paste, enter, and it went and grabbed information on my instance. So I don't want all the way down. So, and since I've done it once now, I have this token because it made a token. So now I have this token. So I don't need this first part anymore. So I'm going to get rid of this first part. All the way, yeah. Oh, that was weird. Okay, so if I come here, I'm going to come back up here. I don't want identity. This just gives us an instant. I'm going to go to latest and get a list of all the things I can do. Oh, I did something wrong. It is, I want to do this command right here, just latest, right there. Enter. Dynamic. Okay, so I need to do dynamic / dynamic. And it has instance identity. What? This is not what I remember. So if I come here, here's the instance metadata categories. And in the past, I've been able to get the network interfaces. There's the local, and then there's the public and the max. So let me grab a command that I have and see if it's the same, if it changed. Yeah, there we go. So why is this different? So instead of latest, oh, I did I should have done latest. It said dynamic or metadata. I should have said metadata. So it's kind of weird. Let me clear and hit the up arrow once to go to this. So what happens is it actually starts here and the last one is on the very end, and I missed that. So here I have the metadata, and here are all my options. I want to know my public IPv4. So that's right there. So I can come up here. And now I just add this one, public IPv4, and hit enter. And there's my IP address. In fact, if you look, 54.163.50.161, that's what I used to log in. Cool. So I can actually call this localized web service and get data about my instance, about my network, about my host name, about my IP address. There's a lot of information here. And I will link to these documents down below because they can be helpful. By the way, this is the IP address that I'm using. I can grab this, copy, and I can come over here and look up the close. I can look up my IP address here. If this will let me. IP lookup, and it'll say, hey, this IP address, it's with Amazon. It's in Virginia, which is really far away from where I'm at. like a long plane ride. That's a long plane ride. So I'm using this system easily, even though it's halfway around the world. Okay. Cool. So something else that I do. So we're looking to see our IP address. We look to see how our network's a little bit set up. Sometimes you just want to do a ping to it. So oftentimes I do this from my system to the web service or the app I'm trying to work with. So, but I could ping Amazon.com and it will go out and tell me this is information about Amazon, and it's actually reporting back. Now sometimes people block these and it doesn't report back. Another great one is traceroute. Traceroute Amazon.com. Because this tries to go through all the little network hops on getting there. And some of them are going to be blocked, which will give us the stars. So, cool. There's a few more commands I want to show you. We're going to clear. Another one that I use a lot is lsof. So let's man lsof. It's like list of open files. Yeah, list of open files. Cool. In Linux, everything's an open file. So I have to do sudo lsof, and I grep, and let's just do -i, because I can't remember what it is, and established. So -i says case insensitive, upper or lowercase. So this will go out there, and this will show me what's currently connected. So I have right there. Now, if I did that without the grep, it's a ton of information because there's all these open files on my system. Okay. One more. I'm going to just show you, man, tcpdump. So on occasion, you have to dump network traffic. I have another video that goes through that. I'll probably remake it later. I'll try and link to that video down below, to the old one. When I remake it, if I remember, I'll come back and update it. But tcpdump is how you dump all your network traffic. Networks are loud. So, for example, sudo tcpdump. You're just going to see this stuff going all over. There's ways to filter it so you don't see as much, but this system, it's doing almost nothing, and that was noisy. Just imagine if it's actually a system that's heavily used. I've seen these get to gigabytes in seconds because of all the traffic that's coming in. So you've got to be careful when you're capturing network packets because it's just a lot of information. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it. This has been a lot. I mean, if I look at the history, that's a lot of stuff. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this, and we'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.